And next, we're going to find the value of your B sub n. Now, we have here the equation that B sub n. So that will be 2 over your period. So that will be integrating from your negative p. Now, that is also the period, then to phi, and multiply by, and we have the function of x. That will be multiplied to the sign, and we have here the number of terms, and we have your phi x, and divided by L and dx. No? So let's try to substitute yung values here. No? So I have my 2. Now for my period, okay, so we have this one. No? Then integrating this one. Now again, so our boundary, so let's go back to the diagram. Yan. So the boundary is from 0 to 1 period. Okay, so we're integrating from starting here and going here. No? So I'm going to substitute that one here. No? So that will be 0 to my 1 period. No? And for the function, balikan natin yon. We have here the function na dinerive natin kanina, the last time. No? So this one, I have my function which is my a. No? So multiply by time, this will be my time, and this is all over now, divided by my period. Then this is multiplied by your sine, okay, and my n, so this will be phi, and this will be x, okay, and all over now, divided by the value of L. Now for the value of L, so let's try to go back yung nakaraan, this one, ito. Okay, so for the value of L, so that will be this one. And substituting mo yung value, we arrive on the phi over your angular square, angular velocity. So substitute natin yan. So that will be phi, no? Phi divided by angular velocity, and we have here dt. Let's try to simplify, substitute natin yung value, and we can also take out yung constant dito. No? So for my b sub n, okay, so I can take out my constant. So pwede ko na ilabas yan. So that will be your period. So ito, okay, so this is a constant. So pwede ko na ilabas yan directly. Okay. Then we have your period over your period, okay, integrating the boundaries. Then we have your t, and this is multiplied by the sine, and that will be phi. And this one pala, sorry about this one, I'm gonna change this one to, this will be t, sorry about this one. This is t, this is t, okay, and it will be all over, no? And that will be my phi angular velocity, okay, and this is dt. And from here, pwede natin itong i-cancel out, okay, no? Then this one, I can substitute yung values ng period ko, so that will be 2, no? All over. So that will be value ng period natin. So that will be 2 pi divided by your angular velocity. So this is 2 pi, my angular velocity, and multiply my amplitude. Again, this is also a 2 pi angular velocity. And we have here, so directly natin substitute yan. So we have 2 pi angular velocity, and this is 0. This is t, time natin, then multiply by the time value nito, so that will be n. Now already yung pi na cancel out natin, so I can say that this will become, so let me try to rewrite this one. So this will become my n, angular velocity times time. No? And this is dt. Yeah? So from here, I can put this cancel out yung 2 dito. Yeah. So I can directly cancel this one. And papilipin na combine natin. So yun lang. So I can rewrite my b sub n as that will be my amplitude. So combine natin yung angular dito, dalawa, that will be angular velocity squared now. And this will be all over. So this one, combine natin yung phi, so this will become your phi squared. Yeah? And we have the boundary 0 to pi angular velocity, and this is my time multiplied by your sine, no, of your n, number of terms, and angular velocity times time, and we have your dt. So next, this will be done to integrate this one. No? This is done by integrating by parts. So we have here the integration of u dv, that will be uv minus, we have to integrate b du. Now for the first part, no, again, this is the same din yung ginawa natin last time for the first part. So we have your u, so this is equal to my value of t. No? Now for the derivative of we're going to derivative of both sides. So yun ang gagawin natin, that will be du, no, and dt. Okay. Now for my second part, gagawin natin dito, so that will be the second part. So for my second part, I have my dv, no? So for my dv, so for this one, so for my dv, so that will be yung part na ito, so that will be equal to my sine, no? Sine of n, angular velocity times time, then we have your dt. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is integrating both sides. No? So sulat natin dito so that you can follow along kung ano yung ginagawa. Integrating both sides natin. Okay, so that will be my dv, which is equal to, integrate natin ito, that will be sine, no, times your n, angular velocity times time, then we have your dt. Yeah? Now to integrate this one, so usually ito babalik sa dati, that will be v, no? And this one again, so we need to integrate this one by substitution of variable. So I'm going to substitute a variable for this values, yung n, angular velocity times n. So I'm gonna let here, no, let ako dito, where let z na lang ilagay ko dito, let z. So that will be equal to n, angular velocity times time. No? So I can rewrite this one with z. So that will be all over n, angular velocity times, sorry, not time. Maiwan yung time doon sa kabila. No? So this is, this is t. Okay. Then, what I'm going to do is to do a derivative of both sides. So derivative, this will become dz, no? And angular velocity, and this will become your dt naman sa kabila, no? Then I can substitute dito. So ano natin dito? Okay? Lagyan natin ng arrow so you can follow along. So my v now is equal to sine, then ang value nito, that will be z. Okay, and the value of my dt, so that will be dz over your n, angular velocity, di ba? Then, itong sa ilalim, yung denominator, pwede na natin i-take out. So, this is a constant. So, I can put outside my integrand here. And angular velocity, di ba? Then, that will be sine of your z, and this is now dz. Now, so mapapansin nyo, it can be integrated na already. Yung ano yan. So, that satisfies yung rules natin sa integration. So, yung sine, okay, so if you're going to integrate this one, so this will become equal to your n angular velocity, so this will become negative. Integration of your sine, that will be a negative cosine. So this is negative cosine of z. Yeah? Then, yung value ng z, okay, so going back, value ng z, so ito yan, no? So, yeah. So, substitute ko na lang din dito. So, this will become negative 1 n angular velocity. Then, we have your cosine. That will be n angular velocity times time. Okay. So, that will be the value of my b. No? Then, let's go back doon sa taas. So, ito na yung value doon. So, substitute natin ngayon dito. Ay, sorry. Hindi yan. But, dito natin isa-substitute. Okay. So, I'm gonna write here the arrow. Okay. So, para mayroon tayong saan na pupunta yung solutions natin. The value of u, okay, so, the value of u, so that will be, so sundan natin ito, integration by parts. So, ang value ng u natin, that will be t. So, I'm gonna write here t. No? Then, so let me do an equal on this one. So that will be t. Okay. Then multiply ng value ng b. So kanina, ang value ng b natin ay ito. Okay. So gonna close bracket this one. That will be negative, no? Negative 1 over your n angular velocity. So this is multiplied by your cosine. That will be n angular velocity times time. So, close bracket natin to. And let me change this one. So, ito close bracket ko na rin to para pareho. This one will be close bracketed. Okay. Then, this is minus, no? So, integration ng value of v. So, this will be negative yun, no? So, that will be 1 and angular velocity, di ba? Then, multiply by your cosine and angular velocity times time. Value ng b natin dito. Then, for the value of du, so remembering, we have here the derivative ng u, which is equal, both sides ng derivative natin, which is equal to dt. So, substitute natin yan dito, we have your dt. Yeah. Okay. So, I can take out, sorry, we have na forgot like here, yung negative sign. Well, importante pa naman yan, no? So, ito, lalabas natin, that will be negative. Okay? So, ilipat na lang siguro natin. So, ay mas, tawag dito, mas komportable ako ng gano'n, which is nauuna yung positive. Okay? So, this one will be positive. So, that will be, take out na rin natin yung constant niya. So, that will be 1, no? And angular velocity, positive na yan. So, integrate natin. So, this is cosine with n, angular velocity times time, and dt. So, don't be confused, no? So, inuna ko lang yung positive dito. Pwede naman unahin yung which is yung negative, but for me, parang mas komportable ako na uuna yung positive. So, wala namang problema as long as yung sign nandoon, yung sign convention, hindi nawawala. So, dito, since this will be negative, so ma-minus na natin yan. So, pasok natin doon, t over your n, angular velocity. So, this will be times yung cosine, n, angular velocity times time. Okay? So, ang naiiwan na lang natin that we are going to integrate is yung this part. No? Again, so mapapansin nyo dito, so, again, so di na natin pwedeng i-integrate ito directly, but what we're going to do is by means of substitution variable, no? So again, magle-let tayo dito. This time I'm going to use x. So for this one, so substitution of variable. So let me write muna natin dito so that you have the yung notes natin. So I state here what I'm going to do is substitution by variable sa part na ito. So again, so what I'm going to do, I'm going to let, no? So I'm gonna let my x is equal to the value na yan, and angular velocity times time. No? So in order that we can integrate this one, so this will be x angular velocity. So this will be my t. Derivative, no? We're going to do a derivative on both sides. Derivative. So I'm gonna write here derivative both sides. Now, para pwede natin substitute doon sa equation. So that will be dx. Okay, all over your n angular velocity and this one by dt natin. So since this is constant and this is variable, which is yun nga, nag-substitute lang ako, no? So that's why substitution of variable ang tawag sa kanya. Okay? So what I'm going to do is, again, so balik natin doon. We can say, we can rewrite our equation ng part na ito. So, ang 1 over n angular velocity natin. So I'm going to integrate this one. So I'm going to do a substitution na. So yung cosine natin, no? So remembering, sinubstitute natin yung value, we're letting the x is equal to this value, no? So I'm going to use the x na yan dyan. Then for my dt, so my dt, anong equal ang dt natin? So yung dt mo, no? So that will be dx over n angular velocity. So dx over n angular velocity. Okay. So yung ganyan yung substitution ng variable. So madali lang naman siya. It does not have to be complicated. So yun lang yung operations. So dapat lang ninyong tandaan. Okay. So that will be n. So again, pansin nyo dito, we have a constant already. Ito, constant na ito. So usually, if there's a constant sa integration natin, so we're going to take out. So ilalabas natin yan. So what I'm going to do is take out this one. So usually, ang mangyayari doon dito, that will be squared already, di ba? So angular squared. And this is cosine of x and dx. Okay, so you will notice here that this can be integrate na also. So from your way back, balik sa inyong subject and integration, so this can be integrate already. So satisfying the rules ng integration. And this one, if you're going to integrate ng cosine of x, so eventually, ang lalabas nito, we have n squared angular velocity. So this, this will become my sine, no? This is sine of x na yan. So yan siya. So we have the integration of cosine, that will be x. Now, yung value of x, substitute na natin to siya. Okay. So again, so we have your 1 over your n squared angular squared, so that will be sine the value of x, ang value ng x natin, that will be n angular velocity times time. Okay. Then again, so na-integrate na natin siya by substitution ng variable, so pwede na natin siyang ibalik ulit dito sa equation na ito, di ba? So I can let me have a overview ng solutions natin. So I can rewrite na yung equation natin dito na itong part na ito, which is integrated. So ito na yung value niya, no? So pwede ko nang isulat dito, that will be 1, no? N squared angular velocity squared, so times yung sine, that will be n angular velocity times time, no? And yung karugtong niya, so that will be, ano yan, nandun. Okay. So this one, that will be minus, tama, minus your t and of your angular velocity. Okay, so I can write here that will be my time, no? N angular velocity, n t over your n angular velocity. So this is will be cosine your n angular velocity times time. Then I'm going to do is close bracket natin to since we have the boundaries, no? So that will be 2 pi angular velocity and 0. So remembering yung boundary natin, balikan natin yon. Okay, so we have here the boundaries. So don't forget about the boundaries. So na-integrate yan sila lahat by means of parts, but the boundary is still there. That will be 2 pi angular velocity and from 0 to 2 pi angular velocity. So we can directly now, not directly, pwede na natin ibalik ulit siya doon sa dating equations, which is, ito yon. So we can substitute it here, yung value, dugtong na natin ito doon sa equation na yun. Since ito, na-integrate na natin kanina, so we can directly ibalik natin to doon and to compute the value of your B sub n. Now, what I'm going to do, so I have here the overview. So, ito pwede na natin ibalik doon. So, since this one is already being integrated, so yung value na integrate ng part na ito, so ito na yung value na yan. So, pwede natin itong from yung value na ito, so substitute natin doon. So, what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to draw a line here para masundan ninyo. So, kung saan ang galing yan. Okay. So, for my B sub n, no? Okay. So, that will be my amplitude. So, this is my angular velocity squared. This is all over, no? Divided by my 2 pi squared. Okay. Then, again, ito yung bracket na yan, no? Okay. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to copy this one, no? Then, ipipaste ko na lang doon para mas mabilis tayo. Okay. Yan. No? So, copy na lang natin para mabilis. Rather than rewriting that one. Okay. So, from here, pwede na nating i-substitute yung values na ito dito sa value ng t and this one and this one. Okay. So, let's try to do that one. So, that will be equal to a angular velocity squared. So, this is will be 2 pi squared. So, close bracket natin yan. That will be 1 over it. So, that will be all over, no? N squared, angular velocity squared. So, this is sine. So, close bracket ko na rin ito para mas maganda siyang tignan. Usually naman ganun. Then, the value of t, so that will be, yun, ito, boundary. So, that will be 2 pi angular velocity. Okay. Yan. And usually, may value pa yan na 0. So, let's, pakita natin. So, para you can fully understand na lahat, this is a step-by-step procedure na ginagawa ko. So, para makita nyo na walang magic dito na shortcut or anything. No. So, that will be sine, no? Close bracket. Okay. That will be n, angular velocity. Again, that is 0. Yun lang nga, mahaba lang solution, but eventually it will be 0 out. Cancel lang din siya. Then, it will be minus yung part na ito. So I have my t, no? Sorry, the value of t. Substitute na natin yan. So that will be 2 pi over your angular velocity. So all over. Then we have your n angular velocity. Then cosine, di ba? So that will be cosine. So we bracket natin to. Much better. So n angular velocity and the value of your 2 phi angular velocity. Close bracket natin yan. Then again, yung value ng 0, no? Yung part na ito. So since lahat yan. So pakita natin. So this will be yung t, no? Is 0. Okay, so this will be 0 all over n angular velocity. So this will be multiplied by your cosine, close bracket, n angular velocity is 0. Okay, then i-close bracket din natin sila ng kabuuan since ito ay multiplied. Okay. So that will close bracket ng kabuuan, no? So I can rewrite here, no? Yung b sub n natin. So let me prove. Gawin natin yan. So a angular velocity squared. So that will be all over. So this is 2 pi squared, no? Close parenthesis. Okay. And this one is pwede natin rewrite nito. So n squared angular squared, no? This one will be cancelled out. Okay. So ang maiiwan na lang natin that will be sine. That will be multiplied by your 2n pi. Yan. And this one, sine of 0, so this will eventually 0 multiply this one, this will be 0 out na. So then sine of 0 is equal to 0. So 0 na ito. So minus ito naman, we can keep this one. So this will be cancelled na ito. Hindi ito magsi-0 out. Okay. So but this one, this will be 2 pi. And this will be 2, mangyayari dito is 2 pi. That will be all over. So this will be n squared. Sorry, not n squared, but n on lang pala. Angular squared, sorry. Angular squared pala yan. And multiply by the cosine. So this will become 2n pi. Yan. So na-cancel na rin yun. And this one, 0 out. And we can say that this is usually if you're going to press in your calculator, press nyo sa calculator, cosine of 0 is equal to 1. No? This one is 0. 0 divided by any value, that will be 0 pa rin. And also cosine of 0 is 1. So we can put here 1. No? Eventually, multiply mo pa rin yan. So again, magiging 0 pa rin yan. Okay. So let's try to rewrite yung equation natin dito to simplify. Sorry. Ikot na tayo. Simplify natin yung equation natin. So this will be rewriting that one. No? So ito ay yung b sub n ko. So I have my a angular squared. Rewrite natin constant natin, then this will be pi squared. Close bracket natin yan. So this will be 1 squared angular squared, then this is sine 2n pi. So minus, no? That will be 2 pi n angular squared and cosine of 2n pi. Okay? So, yan na lang yan. Yan na siya. Okay, so, let me try to flash yung sa book, no? Singiroso. So, ito yung sa book, okay? For your b sub n. So, we have here the value. Okay? So, ang nangyari dito is I directly substituted na kaagad dito. Okay? So, let me try to have an overview on this one. So, this is yung values niya. But eventually, mag-i-equal din tayo dyan. No? So usually if nauna lang natin na substitute yung mga values, but eventually equal din tayo dito sa value na ito. Then we have here the relationship when the sine 2 and phi is equal to 0 and cosine 2 and phi is equal to 1. So pwede kong i-rewrite yung equation ko, the b sub n. We have your a angular squared. Okay, so all over, no? So that will be divided by your 2 pi squared. So close bracket ko ito. So we have here 1 over your angular velocity, n. N angular, n squared, angular squared, no? Multiply by sine. This is, sorry, the value na pala, no? Sine 2 and phi, so this is 0, minus, that will be 2 pi. Okay, that will be n angular squared. And cosine of 2 and pi is equal to 1. Okay, so yan. So eventually, so this will be cancelled out. 0 na yan. And ang naiwan ay ito. So I can rewrite this one, b sub n. So multiply natin siya dito. Angular squared. And this is all over, no? That will be 2 pi squared. So notice this is a negative one. So negative. And that will be 2 pi. So this is, sorry, that one. Rewrite that one. That will be 2 pi and angular squared. So ito cancel. Yan cancel. Okay. And ito is cancel also, and this one also. And this one is cancelled out. And naiiwan na lang is already nababawasan na yan. Okay. So what is left? We have your b sub n is equal to negative amplitude. And this is all over. No? Okay. We have your n. No? And this will be phi. Okay. So let me check that one. Okay. So again, i-flash natin yung solution from the book. Okay, so we have negative a n for the number tens 1, 2, and so on. Okay. Negative a over your n number of tens and phi. So it means that we are in the right path of our solution. So the same din, yung ano lang. Masyado kasi shortcut sa book. Okay, so that's not explained. Because ang haba ng solution. Okay. So let me show you the quick overview, no? Natin yan. So yan. Bigyan natin ng quick overview ng solutions natin dito to see yung whole solutions, no? Quick overview. Okay. So we have already completed a sub 0 yon, and a sub we have your a sub n, which is a sub 0 is a amplitude, and a sub n is equal to 0, and b sub n is equal to negative a and pi, no? So now nakuha na natin yung value ng a sub 0, a sub n, and b sub n. Now for the general equation natin ng function, no? So ito yan, a sub 0 divided by 2, then plus the summation of n terms, infinity. We have a sub n, cosine of n, pi x over L, then plus your b sub n, sine n pi x over L. No? So, yung function natin dito, we have your x, function of time, di ba? And for the value of a is 0, so balikan natin doon. So, that will be your amplitude. So substitute lang din natin yan siya dito. So, we have your a, no? All over. So, that will be divided by 2. So, plus, here we have the summation, di ba? No. To infinity, we have your n is equal to 1. And this is close bracket natin ito. And for the value of a sub n, so balikan natin yon, we have the value of a sub n, that will be 0. Okay. Substitute natin yan siya dito. So, we have 0 here. Then, cosine, no? Yung n mo dito, we have n of terms. So, we have your phi. And your x, it will be t, diba? and this is all over, no, ng value of your L. So for the value of L, so balikan natin yon. Ano ba yan? So let me find that one. So, dito lang yan. So that will be pi over your angular velocity. Okay, so substitute natin yan. And this is pi angular velocity. Okay, then this is plus the b sub n, that will be negative, no, amplitude and pi. So substitute natin yan. That will be negative yung amplitude all over. That will be n phi. For this n phi. That will be pi n. Then we have here your sine. That will be n phi. So this will become t, and this will be all over. That will be L. Okay. Sorry. That will be pi. Pi times your angular velocity. And close bracket natin yan. And we can further simplify this one. So I'm gonna simplify ko pa ito. So we have x function of time. So this will be your a. This is your 2. Sorry. This will be 2. Plus again. So we have here the summation to infinity. We have n is equal to 1. Close bracket natin ito. So this one will be, ito yung part na ito. So since this is 0, a sub n, so this will be 0 out. Okay. What is left is this one, negative value. Okay. So that will be amplitude, all over your pi n, that will be multiplied by the sine of my n pi t. So this is all over. Pwede natin pala i-cancel out yan, no? We can cancel out yung values ng ito tsaka ito. Okay. So that will be ang maiiwan na that will be n angular velocity times time. So close bracket mo this one. Okay. Natin yan. So we have simplifying ito. Now for the value of n, like 1, 2, 3, and so on through infinity, no? So usually for the number of terms na mas marami, mas maganda, but eventually it will correspond to a longer equation. Okay, so let's try to substitute yung the number of terms natin dito. So ang mangyayari natin dito, so let's view. So let me try to adjust the view. Okay. So we have your x function of time. So that will be a. Yeah. So that will be all over. No? So that will be my 2. So plus. Sorry, that is not plus but minus pala. So direct natin to ipasok. Okay. So this is minus, no? So yung value ng a, okay, that will be all over. That will be pi. Now, for the number of terms, so initially we'll be using 1. Okay. So that will be 1 times the pi. And this is multiplied by the sine. And yung value ng n mo, so i-close bracket na lang natin to para mas maganda tignan. And value ng n mo, that will be 1 times the angular velocity and time. Okay. Then next is, again, the same pa rin, no? A. Then all over. No? Then this is yung value ng n. So that will be, again, second term, we have 2. No? Then this will be pi. And it will be sine. Close bracket, we have yung value ng n, that will be 2 times your angular velocity times time. Okay. So that is for the second term. Then we have next, we have your a, amplitude. So this is all over. So, yung n mo is 3 pi, 3 na. So, 3, that will be 3 pi. Yeah? Then, times the sine. And close bracket, it will be 3 times the angular times time. Yeah. So, that will be our equation. And then, through finite numbers. So, I will, okay. So, let me adjust my canvas here. So, let me just try to adjust this one. Okay. For the finite number of terms, so I'm just gonna put here dot 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 and so on. Yeah. So that represents that one for finite number of terms. So continuous yan through infinity. Then, so it will take time lang naman kung lalagay natin lahat yan. So just only to show in the solutions. Okay. So we have x function of time. Yeah. And I can factor this one to simplify my equation dito. So, I can factor yung a, which is yung common sa kanila. So, definitely we have here, that will be pi, no? Then, close bracket natin to. Then, I can factor it from here. So, factoring that one. So, this will become my pi. You know? Pi over 2. Eventually, pag minultiply mo ito dito, so the same yung makukuha ko. Diba? Then, minus, dito, so we have close parenthesis ko, pinactor ko to. So, and also the sign. So, I'm gonna make it positive na. No? So, this will become, multiply mo dito and dito. So, we have here the sign na lang. Then, this is angular velocity times time. Di ba? Then, plus, since I factored already yung negative doon. This is equal to 1/2. No? And that will be sine. No? Sine of 2 angular velocity times time. And this is plus 1/3. That will be sine. That will be 3 angular velocity times time. And so on. Okay, through infinity. So, close parenthesis and then close parenthesis. So, this is now the solution of my equation for the motion. Okay, and this one. So, let's have a quick overview on the solution. So, okay, so that ends this is now, if you're going to substitute yung mga values ng time dito, eventually, and also the angular velocity, kung ilan yung angular velocity, that definitely gives the motion ng displacement ng ating, ng bulb, kung saan siya. Okay? So, that concludes the solutions.